Last week, we talked about PR issue management, certain finding issue to improve the quality, document management. We talked about system text design and how the PR is going on and what the changes were inside it. Do we have demos? We have topics. What are we right now? 4, 5? I'm lost. 5.
2.
How many?
2.
What have you done last week?
We're not going to release a new release every time. We do want to release a yessql.
Do we?
I think so.
Oh, your thing. Yes, sorry. Okay, I need to take care of that. Dude, you stopped trying. I was almost about to say okay, but
well, I mean, I'm not gonna sit and argue with you. Okay, it's your project. I still disagree,
no,
but it's your project.
I like to I like to argue because I want. Even if I think I'm right for like 2 hours, maybe the 3rd hour I will change my mind. I mean, you gave another argument and I was about to look at it, and then you.
We can always undo my last changes, so that's not a big deal.
So you're open to me retracting my argument.
Yes, because okay. I still think my approach was slightly better.
I will still look at it with your latest argument.
There you go.
And try to understand the reasoning behind. Or merge it, and then you're done. So that status. Should one, I think there was something merged. 16, yes. This one, string comparison first, lowercase when we need to ensure matching path. Okay. Matching path, lowercase for Unix slugs. Implementability to add localization of selected terms to filters. To add localization. Filters, okay. Localized versions in filters. Terms filter. Filters in OrchardCore are things that you can make projections with. It's the equivalent of queries in OrchardCore, but they used to be completely modern. It wasn't like a SQL query or a SQL query where it was text-based. It's more UI-based. So you would build a query with the defined filters to project. So it was a query and the rendering. Beautiful. I think it was introduced in Orchard 1.3. I remember the day we showed it, and I already mentioned by the past that I remember this day we showed that feature. For those who use Drupal, it's the equivalent to the views module in Drupal. That was Orchard 1, OrchardCore. This one. Jint 3.0 beta. What is the yellow one I'm seeing here that I don't want to see right now? Yeah. Jint update, Redis update, added feature ID in braces to feature name for clarity. Okay. Fix looking user styling right to left. Space makes things magic in right to left. To add a space, then it will be this one on the right and then on the left instead of just one block. So the space is magic. And important, more than magic, it's important. Mention project on the docs. Who's Gabo? Who is this person?
It's our colleague.
Let's put this correctly. Case now. I was like, what is that? Yeah, that's 4 layers. Yeah, so it's funny because I just explained in Orchard 1 we had this notion of concept-based filters, and in Orchard Core it's just a string query like SQL or anything. But for layers in Orchard 1, it was a text condition. There was a specific language, very simple language for predicates, and you could extend the verbs in the language like URL user to filter URL and user. But in Orchard Core is the opposite. We have the model based condition using roles. Interesting. So more doc about that. Commerce. There's 1.8 on main. Perfect. One commit with all the changes.
You know, one thing I didn't like, just FYI, when I pick directly to the release branch and I hit generate release notes, it did not pick those release notes correctly. Just
Because
FYI, I think
because they want
I think-
PRs. Yeah.
well, yeah, I think so. So I think it might be better to put them as part of the PR, but then do a merge instead of squash merge.
Or you can do a fake PR, generate release notes, and then the PR just to have the release notes automatic.
Or just write the release notes yourself,
Or that's
which is what I did.
or the PRs when they were created detect that we should have released them as a batch release and then target 1.8 something.
Yeah. No big deals. I just thought I would give you that feedback because I did that last time differently. So
don't do that again. Don't cherry pick from main to a release branch. That's if they are enough to ship on your release, then they should target a service release. That's how we should that. We do. I suggested that last time already. We do the same thing as ASP.NET Core, which is say backport, and it will recreate the PR for the release for the service branch. That's even better. And this way it will appear in the change notes.
backport? What is?
I mentioned that. You didn't listen to me.
I mean, I listened.
Let me show you. So it's done in the runtime and ASP.NET Core. There is a GitHub workflow. That's super easy to copy paste. Just copy paste it. It's called backport. Okay. Just have to copy paste and change the branches and templates. We don't care about that. So it's a GitHub action which is triggered by a custom comment. The comments, and let me show you an example because I know there was one yesterday I commented on that. Imagine you have a PR on main, okay, that was merged. You fix something that you want to ship as a service release. Exactly what you did. We had the commit in main, and there was a PR. So this is a PR. Once the PR is merged, you can go and add a comment like what is the comment? I'm confused. Where is the comment? I'm taking my one. I don't understand. Well, what you do is you do like slash backport, and you say like release slash 1.8.2 or 1.8 if this is a branch, okay? And by doing that, you add a comment, then the script will run, detect it, and create a new PR with the same content, but targeting the other branch. So that's a way to do that. And what's happening is that it's important.
So that runs on a when you commit, or does it on the schedule? On the top, it looks like there's a cron schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to clean up all things, I know what this is like. Maybe it's not that, but it's very like as you type the comment. Maybe there is a hook.
Oh, it does both on created and also on schedule.
You see?
I see.
So this one, okay. So yeah, and this one was a comment. It will find that there is this comment.
It says /cc user. So I guess it's looking for that pattern.
This is a template of the new PR that is creating, just to CC the owner probably of the first PR to let them know, hey, we are backporting your stuff. So I don't know how it's triggered. I can ask, but that's the way.
Really, yeah. Okay.
Same thing in the runtime. So because the idea is that we fix an issue in main, and then we ask during a meeting, should we and can we port this change to a service release? Does it pass the bar? And if they say yes, then we do backport and press a new PR with the same content. And it's important because the test will be run on the old branch, because maybe the test pass on main, but don't pass on release 1.8.2. So that's why it's important to also do the PR to run the test.
Yeah, I'll add that action. That's actually a pretty clever idea. I didn't even know you can do that with.
And we can try it and not just merge the changes, just to try.
It's amazing how much you can do with these workflows.
I'm surprised I'm not seeing the slash backport in the PRs, because it's how it works. You see? Backport to main. And then the bot right after says starting backporting and then close them. So that I didn't see that in that one. And I don't know where the logic about finding the comment and the format like slash backport to, and then the regex that we say this is a branch name. So this is, I don't see it somewhere. Good.
Thank you.
Fix a typo. Fix the deliver method in OrchardCore section. Okay. This format. Datetime. What does it do? Well, that's great. What would have been even better would be to see some documentation updated also, or added. So datetime tag helper and timespan tag helper. Timespan tag helper. Let's look at the time first. So the tag helper. Tag helper is the resorting. It has a UTC property attribute, UTC attribute, UTC attribute, and a format attribute. UTC attribute is a datetime. Okay, and the format is a format. And when it's rendered, it says create the shape datetime. Why dynamic? We have done it dynamic. And then we render the datetime shape. And then we don't create another tag around that. Okay, timespan, same thing, UTC origin. Okay, so this is rendering the date with the format and the UTC time. So this shape will then render the date using the current context date, which means using the datetime provider that we selected based on the time zone of the site. Okay, that's what it will do. And this timespan has a datetime, has an origin. So it's a difference between two dates. It's a shape timespan. Oh, like 3 days ago. Okay. Or 2 minutes ago. That's what we do in the admin. And it's using the timespan shape. Okay. You know, when I explain what it renders, it's also for myself because I know this shape. I just don't remember what it does. I don't use it that often. I made this shape, but I don't remember. So that's why the comment would be good to explain what it does to remind, like, all the time span that or shape does that. Or people like me who don't remember. OpenIddict, date, Jint, and missing project. This is exactly the same thing in this case. That's a nice cleanup. Like, it was super clean, and now it's cleaner. Mike, I just checked who did that.
Well, it is actually cleaner because it will tell you. It will tell you it's a message from a specific module. If you don't understand anything about OrchardCore and you're at the MVC, all you see is hello world. Well, what does that even mean, right? So it will actually tell you where it's coming from.
In that line.
But you can argue the opposite, sure.
I won't change your mind. Layout. So there is a layout now. The
layout is also Bootstrap 5 instead of 3.
yessql.db to OrchardCore.db.
This one is a breaking change, and we need to fix it because it has a breaking change. I open a new issue. I think we have to submit a PR.
Goes to this version, we have to change our file name.
Yep, either change the file name or specify in the settings that, this is a new name. It's an unnecessary change. I think we can use that name for new tenants, but we have to keep it backward compatible.
Okay.
So all tenants, we shouldn't.
Yeah, we could do that. We could just say if it's an existing tenant, don't choose the name. If it's a new tenant, then.
Yep, that's what I suggested in the new issue.
Can we also make it lowercase?
Lowercase OrchardCore?
Yeah, just for Mac systems. If you can use everything lowercase, it's easier. Like, it's normalized by default. Otherwise, we have to care about the case here everywhere. honestly,
I'll
I haven't
see if
looked
Hisham
up.
submits a PR. We'll see if he fixes it. If he doesn't fix it, I'll submit a PR and fix it because it's annoying.
Jint 3.0, that's the official release now. We used to have warnings because we're using a beta. Well, for all the things that we are using beta, this one. Prevent frontend search with Azure AI is not configured. Okay. I will not take the warning because it means it will be displayed with our default plugin. So I'm not sure. Do you want? Yeah, maybe. It's good. Yeah, okay. The feature is enabled, but it's not configured. Okay, that's fine. I was scared about people hitting the endpoint by chance and then generating the log all the time. But this feature is supposed to work and it's not configured, so that's good. AngleSharp. SQL DatabaseName was not ready for my settings. Find trends, which is better than this one, sure.
Well, it's not just better. You also bind two properties.
That's why it's better because it's binding all the things.
Yeah.
That's how it was at the field. Okay. Instructions. Yeah. Okay, SiteNameValidAttribute with StringLengthAttribute. Okay, good job. Microsoft definition is TTP.Resilience, which is the new thing in ASP.NET Core, which I worked on for the past year. Remove code not obsolete in 2 years. Super obsolete. Fix accessibility pronunciation evaluation on terms. Fair enough. I wonder if this is something that was also fixed in the source theme. Like if we should just update the theme. I don't remember. We've done that for a long time. You clean up. So docs. Not docs. Send this message. Okay, I trust you. Actually, like margin value, CSS stuff. Which section is built by the prefix? That's it. I'm not sure. Last week. Okay, that's the same one.
The main difference is that if you see where the first arrow on the top, before we used iSite underscore and then whatever it is, search index, the property name.
Yeah.
So in this case, we add iSite, the section name, and then the property where the section on the section. So you have more qualified name in cases where you need to use like tabs or inject more than one thing from a different drivers. You want to make sure if the property name appear more than once on that same page, they have correct prefix. So in this case, we put the iSite name, well, whatever prefix we have, plus iSite, plus section name.
Okay, and in prefix, that's this one, I believe, because
the prefix is whatever you're currently you're rendering right now.
A string builder. So what you try to do is to do generate that and optionally add that. I look at the string builder.
The string builder, yeah, it was just, I thought I would optimize that a little bit, but because there's not a lot of strings being concatenated, it actually performs worst with a string builder. Yeah, and so that's, and then I reverted it back.
Yes,
so there's yeah, go ahead.
And also this, because it's just a concatenation of two things, it should be optimal already. But you can check that. And so what I will do, I just to understand what's happening when we do something like this, if it's worth, I don't know, so if I do also type of method name, this is a custom case, let's say, because it could be a static string that you create. That's an optimization. When you see same thing. That's interesting. But there are two things that can be optimized. So when we do that, you see this thing. It's creating. This is the IL. Can I have something? compiler. Yeah. So the compiler actually generates that. The code that is actually implemented is a default interpolated string handler, and it says we must be for the number of elements to add. Append formatted, append equal, append formatted, append equal, append formatted. So it's like a string builder. Okay. And so we need to understand what. So it's not like concatenation per se, probably. Maybe it's already having a buffer inside and it's better than plus. So it's already good. It's almost as good as a string builder, I would say, maybe here. To only know the difference would be to look at the source code. And what I would do, it's for you for next time you wonder, like, I don't know the answer, but that's the thing. That's the process I will go through. Like, what is this thing doing? Literal length and formatted count. So how many things to inject and literal length is what? The number of constant characters outside of the operation. So here it's saying it detected 2 chars that are for sure the minimum size of the string, because this could be empty, this could be empty, this could be empty. At least the string is at least 2 char length, and there will be 3 things to inject. And from that information, it will probably rent get default length literal formatted count. So there is a method that will give it the length to get from a pool based on the number of minimum size and how many things will be injected. And if you look at that, get default length, minimal array pool length, guessed length per hole. What is guessed? 11, it says, okay, let's assume 11 and at minimum 256. So we are good. So what's happening here is that it will compute 1, 2, 3 times 11, 33, plus 2, 35. So it will allocate, it will get a string or an array of 35 chars. And that will probably be fine. Let's see what you should. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, plus 11 more. It will be probably good, but just close to 35. However, there is a minimum array pool length, 256. So whatever happens, that's what we saw earlier here. Okay. Whatever happens, it will take 256. Okay. If this thing is smaller, like 35. So we get an array of 256 chars here, array to return to pool, but it will return to string and clear will probably then to string and clear. It's a new string and then clear, which will probably return the thing to the pool. Okay. So when we type that, you don't need a string builder because this thing, the interpolated string, is in this case better than the string builder. It will use a pooled array to create a new string. And so, yeah. But that's interesting to understand what's happening. I didn't know the details now. I know.
So any string concatenation under 256,
In this case,
it's a safe.
And when you
but
say
anything
concatenation, I would say no, string interpolation. Now, let's say we are doing a concatenation. Maybe it will do the same thing because it's a compiler optimization. So what if I do A plus? Because I'm sure it's clever enough to do that, what you're mentioning with a concatenation, which you say concatenation, so I'm doing this thing. And no, well, now it's creating an array of strings, which is more costly than whatever is doing there. And then there is concat. So now what does concat do when you pass an array of 5 items? Like, so what I would assume is concat will create a new buffer. We'll use string.create with the string containing the value. So that's probably what it does, because there is this method, string.create, where you can have a lambda and fill it with an existing array of chars, and it will be an optimized version of creating a string. So that's probably what this thing is doing. So yeah, it's this thing here is better than this thing.
Yeah, I see that. Yep. As long as it's under 256 characters in length.
Yeah. Or as long as 256, or if your elements here are less than 11 chars, because it will also be optimal as well. Otherwise, it will have to run a new array dynamically, and maybe it will be cheap also because this array is always still available. But yeah, I would just suggest to use that, yeah, instead of concatenating like this. Interestingly,
yeah,
to be benchmarked. But yeah, that's a good thing to do, the interpolated strings. And note that you can also customize what's happening when you do an interpolated string. You can provide a custom string handler for something like that. I don't remember exactly how it's done, but something like if you provide a custom type, I think it is able to find the way to convert that to this, or method, maybe in a method. When you pass an interpolated string in a custom method, you can say, oh, this is this argument here, so let's call my own interpolated string. And it will handle that differently, like the formatted example. When you do something like that, select star from users where name equals name. Okay. I have a check password. Check username. SQL. Okay, and I do that. What's the issue with this statement here?
Is that larger than 11 characters, the username?
No. Don't think about allocation. The thing here is that nothing to do with perf. It's about security. You don't inject something like the username.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's my.
Yeah, you need to parameterize it. Yeah, absolutely.
And what you can do actually is, I don't remember exactly, but you can say, like EF has something like that. I will just simplify different. And you can say EF.query, something like this. And because it's the parameter of query, so you can put an attribute on the argument property here of query. You can say, hey, if it's an interpolated string, let me handle that, the interpolation of that thing. And it will SQL escape the result of username. So you can change what is actually generated by the compiler when you use an interpolated string. So that's a very powerful thing. And Dapper does that, EF does that, so C#, interpolated strings, customization. Use a custom interpolated string handler. I have to ask ChatGPT. I think I can put this in. Interpolated string handler. You have to implement append literal and append formatting. This is the method that they are calling. And how do we plug that? Log message builder. Okay, you see? So it's not a string that you're accepting. It's a log interpolated string handler. And this way users can provide something like that. And the compiler will call your methods on your string handler instead of the string, the standard string handler, the default interpolated string handler. So this is exactly what I showed. Like when you have something like this, we tell, no, don't inject time directly. Let me call my append formatting method on my interpreter for that. So that's super powerful. And you can do that for many, many things, like templating and stuff like that. Okay, good. That was good. So yeah, your solution is a pass test. What was it about? Okay, so we need the collisions for the big topics. Okay. The thing I said could be optimized is
Name of, I think. Yeah.
No, that's not what. No, you can't choose name of in this case. So in this case, we can, but in this case,
type of that name.
You can't here. The type of is a generic type, so you don't know it's a generic type. So, but what you can do is that. Let me show here. If I do the same thing, but I say var d. Let me do public as class. What you do is dot type of t dot name. They add formatted type of t dot name. And I do one say C was new my class object and do dot t that's what it wants. So read that's change. I don't choose a name. So type of t dot name here. So it's not optimizing it. So what I'm seeing is if you did instead that thing, let's see. Because I'm afraid that this thing will create a new string every time. I'm not sure, you have to check, but I'm wondering if you can say public or private. I think to name equals.
I assume here that reflection does some sort of no.
There's no reflection here, but that might just because
when you say
string,
type of t.name, isn't that using reflection?
No, it's on compilation for every t that is used during my compilation, like object. There will be one class with the object argument, and everything should be objected. There is no more t. Yeah, yeah. If I had to create a dynamic class of a dynamic type, yes, but not in this case. Name here. You see, in this case, it will use tname, which is created once. So the name of the object will be created once, will be used once. I'm not sure if it's created or used or whatever, instead of calling type of tname every time. So the question is, what's the cost of calling type of tname in a benchmark compared to just getting a static string? Maybe it's the same thing, but at least there is no access. It can just be faster. I don't know how much, but and maybe so it can just be faster because there is less code, and maybe in terms of allocation, that is allocating, and maybe that one is not allocating. But that's what is not allocating for sure.
Well, that will save only at the first. So whoever calls that method first, that T name will be saved, and that's it.
Yep. But here, every time you call foo, you are calling type of .name. That's what I'm saying. This one will
Yeah,
call
but
once.
but
This
that
one,
private, unless you add that shape, the spade, so equal or greater than or equal to, so it's evaluated every time. Otherwise,
no,
you know,
what
you
mean?
might have. So I mean, calling T name. Whenever you access that static property the first time, it sets a value.
Maybe.
And so if next time you call it on a different class, on a different T, it's going to give you the first T value, not the second T. So if we have two classes,
yes,
that's
sure.
not what we want.
Sure. But what I'm saying is that this code, what's the cost of this code over time? This one is fixed once done. This one, maybe it's good, and this is a singleton that is called on the type.name, fine. But you still need to do a get of something, which you don't need to do here. So it can just be faster. Even if this thing is already super optimized, this can just be faster. Because there is no get accessor. It's the string instance that is fast. Here, there is a .get name of something here. So it has to load this thing and then call get name on that thing. And you get a string. And we hope that the dot name is something that is just a property that you can.
So if you go back to your code and create another instance, which class name, what's the output?
Yeah.
So, you know, like right there, you, so class, so if you print the code as is, we expect that object to be printed on the last portion, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what if we create a new instance of my class, but this time with a different object, not just object? What will be the output?
If you create a new class, they will each have their own static value.
Oh, I see what you, okay, I didn't pay attention to that corner. Okay. So anytime you create a new instance of that, you're creating a static variable for that generic class. Yeah. Worth trying just to understand which one, or if it helps or not.
Oh, wrong. I think so. I don't know what the name does. Yeah, that's the thing we care about. Just interesting to understand that's happening. That's what I do. This thing. Okay. Fix the prefix. Application, prefill template name, and creating the templates. And I believe this is because we already passed a main property that we are not using before. At least we can create links now. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so it was already passed, but not yet. You asked the same question. Update the height and content. Okay. Height discovery pattern. Starting.
So problem we had is that if you enable the Elasticsearch and you don't configure it, its services will not be available. And so if you try to access anything that uses those services, like deployment steps or anything else, the problem is that you're going to get an exception because that service isn't registered, just because the configuration does not exist.
Okay.
So with this change, what happens is that we make those services available. If you enable a feature, its services will be available. However, if you make a call to like a UI to the admin or whatnot, we'll give you simply an error, or not an error, a warning that say the service is not configured, so you can't use this UI until you configure it. But it's not going to break or throw exceptions because, you know, we don't want to register these services.
Is that English? I see two issues with that in English. Mike.
Say that again?
It's not English. I see two issues with that.
Okay.
First, is exist is not English.
Yeah, exist.
Okay. And then is exist first. So there is a grammatical, that's what I'm saying, are two grammatical things. It's does exist,
That's
but is
correct.
exist. And then there is no S at the end. So is, what is file configuration?
Yeah, does file configuration exist?
Yeah, or is configured, done. Yeah, whatever, but you found, you have options. Just put begin. I'm not, no, it's like, who cares? It works.
No, that good point, because I think I copied it from the Azure AI, the same name. So I think we need to update it in both places. Yeah, I'll update that.
This is good.
Good point.
File configuration exists, but not is. Yeah. At the same time, you try to put a property or method that does the verb, like is, does, whatever. Oh no, yeah. Yeah, this one. Yeah, whatever. You know what? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of work to detect that. This is different. It's probably a factor.
Yeah, that code is moved from the startup into a new configuration class because that's where it belongs. That's optimization.
I'm not sure.
Instead of creating a new list every single time.
Oh, yes.
You have that.
Because it's an
You're
enumerable.
returning constant.
I was wondering, are we returning a list that can be changed? So yeah, but here, okay, that's good. But it's enumerable, so that's fine. Enumerable.empty. I never use that. I would have used array.empty. I don't know what's the difference.
Which one? What do you use?
Enumerable.empty. I would have used array.empty.
I'm guessing it's just a different static.
What is the? I don't know. Yeah, but
I mean, you should be able to use both because they're both are not mutable.
it will work. But I'm wondering, where is that thing?
I believe it's in the generic. System.link.
Oh,
I'm wondering if what is enumerable empty returns since it's linked. It probably returns maybe an array. So
really?
under maybe, yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, empty.
It's returning exactly array.empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it could have been array.empty.
So either one. One is just in link and one is just not in link.
One less
collection.
accessor, one less.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, one less
It's
accessor.
like you save the world with all these carbon that you spare, like all the CPU you don't use because there is one less
Yeah,
accessor.
but isn't enumerable because it's just a command. It doesn't really evaluate until, so it really is, it doesn't evaluate until you reach array.empty.
Well, every time you call enumerable.empty, it will then invoke something, a method that returns. So there is a method invocation. Maybe it's optimized and inline. It's possible also. So maybe it's completely exactly the same. So it's probably optimized, like, oh, it's just one operation to do. So let's just inline it. So maybe that thing is inline.
Yeah.
But how do we know? Have to check that. That will tell us. Or maybe it's not the same Jint team. Yeah, probably like Jint compilation, will optimize that and make it better. Who knows? Yeah, who cares? Then nothing else done on time. Thanks everyone.
Sorry for the late notice. Can I have a quick
Dude.
demo?
No, I don't have time. I have to go. I can leave you in the meeting room. Can I, Gabor? Do you think it works if I stop sharing and I leave the meeting? You are still in the meeting, right?
Yeah, I'm here, but you started the recording. I'm not sure.
I think it will still work. I have to go. Let's try that. I'm leaving if the recording continues, or you can start a new recording if you want, and then you will do the merge. But I think it won't stop the recording. So please stop the recording when I leave.
Okay.
Sebastian, please just look at that yessql PR.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yessql. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stop sharing. And
Still recording. So that's good.
Yeah, it seems so, yeah.
Yes, okay. So can I start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is this called Lombiq.Walkthroughs. This is basically a tutorial module. It uses Shepherd.js. And as you can see, it's a module and I create the setup recipe for this. It activates the module. It's basically a tutorial. right now there are only one walkthrough here. This is about the admin UI. I won't go through this because it's really long, but basically the key steps for this are showing the admin dashboard, the login screen, creating it uses the blog post recipe as the base. So we are creating a new blog post, introducing the markdown editor, the preview button, creating a new article, comparing the HTML body editor with the markdown editor, adding a new menu item, listing content items, explaining taxonomies, media management, creating a new page with flow parts, adding widgets to the layout, taking a look at the content type editor, field editor settings, audit trail, user management, and roles, and import, export, deployment, and deployment plans. So there are a lot of stuff in this walkthrough. Shepherd.js have a limitation because every time if I would reload this page, it wouldn't remember where we left. So I'm using the query parameters and cookies to log where we stopped. And as you can see, there are a lot of steps here. I will just go to the admin dashboard, but I won't go through everything. So as you can see, it's fully guided, and everything is highlighted. And for guiding the user, for example, here this side menu is now not clickable, so the user can't go anywhere else. So they will be on the track. There is also a back button and next button, and they can close it. This is just the first version of this walkthrough module, because I think in the future there will be better if there would be a window somewhere that could indicate what step is the user on, and they could jump between the steps, not just in a linear fashion. And it works through pages because of the saved cookies and query parameters. And yeah, it's pretty guided. Yeah, I think that's it basically.
That's a lot of steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you can you skip it? If I'm the user, can I skip?
No, because it's just a linear one way. So it's starting from the beginning and it finishes on the end. But we talked about improvements because this is just the first version. And as I said, it would be good if we would have a constant window somewhere with all the steps, so the user could skip between the steps.
I see.
Yeah, I think this is good. But how do you compose the workthrough? Do you have to? Is there a UI to compose that?
Basically, everything is written in JavaScript. Yeah. So if you want to put something like this together, you have to write it in JavaScript, unfortunately. So you can't put this together on a UI or something. But as I said, Shepherd.js offers some pretty good functions.
Okay. Thank you. And the main purpose of this is like for training new users, right? Is this the target audience, the main purpose?
Yeah, and so training users, and this one walkthrough is only about the admin dashboard basically, but there could be costume ones.
Right. Thank you.
Looks good though. Good job.
Thank you.
No one has a comment. I guess we can wrap the meeting.
Yeah, thinking about the same.
Okay, folks,
then.
thanks very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
day.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Cheers.